Our show is going to be about today. Tom Homan claims CNN has gone too far with I Hate Trump Promote app that will expose ICE identity. They claim to support law enforcement until it doesn't serve their agenda. In this video, we break down the hypocrisy of those who turn their backs on law enforcement the moment it involves Donald Trump. From media narratives to political double standards, it's clear they hate Trump more than they love law enforcement. We're exposing the bias, the inconsistencies, and the truth behind the outrage. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more uncensored commentary. Hi, I'd like to welcome you to Speak the Truth 2.0. Like what we were saying, there's a lot going on, and we want to make America safe as well. So we're going to just dive right in
Tom,
to Tom.
they've crossed the line here. This is out of control.
I know it's just simply disgusting, and any network that covers that is disgusting as well. So I'm hoping DOJ steps in there and see if they cross that line of impeding federal law enforcement officers. Look, Lawrence, you're not talking about this. Assaults against ICE is up over 500%. Now you got an app that's going to tell where ICE operations are going to be. It's only a matter of time before ICE agents are ambushed by some nut, like what happened in LA, throwing a Molotov cocktail, throwing bricks at these officers. This is just disgusting at every level. So I hope DOJ dives in this deeply, because ICE is concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. This shouldn't be a partisan issue. This shouldn't be an issue anybody is against. So they're already a dangerous job going after the worst of the worst. These guys are putting their lives on the line every day going after the worst of the worst in the national security threat. And this app makes it that much more dangerous. It's incredible that those who enforce law, all of a sudden they're the bad guys. The ones who break the law, they're the victims. It's disgusting.
Why would CNN promote this? Why would they do a story on this?
I can't figure it out. I've been doing this for 4 decades. I've never seen anything like this in my life. It's got to be they hate Trump more than they love law enforcement. I can't figure it out. But something needs to be done. I mean, you advertise this guy's app on a national TV network. This is going to bring more followers, sick followers, to the app and use it. Again, letting the bad guy know ICE is coming. They're here. Here's where they're going next. This is dangerous for the men and women of law enforcement.
So true, Tom. I want to get you to weigh in on another story. So a judge has decided to delay Abrego Garcia's release from a Tennessee jail over deportation concerns. Not because he's a public safety risk, not because he beat his wife, not because he trafficked people across the border, not because people died in vans because of his trafficking, but because they don't want the guy to be deported. Should a judge be doing this?
Absolutely not. It's just another disgusting story. This judge is telling us, I don't want you to abide by the federal court order issued by 2 different federal judges that this person needs to be deported. So he's basically telling us, ignore the orders issued by 2 federal judges. I'm going to make my own independent, radical decision. Again, DOJ is on top of this. We got a great AG in Pam Bondi. I think they'll take this fight all the way. Bottom line is, there's no place in this country for this man. He needs to be sent home.
It's unbelievable that the judges now become these activists right now. If they want to be activists, they can take the robe off. Any of the judges that I work for in juvenile court, they would never tolerate this type of behavior. I want to get you to weigh in on Senator Chris Murphy. He's angry that the border numbers and the crossings are so low. This is the Senator Watch.
Border crossings are at a record low. Do you give the Trump administration some credit for that?
No, I don't give them credit for that, because border crossings are low because they're violating the law every day. We wrote that bipartisan bill last year to reform the asylum process, to make sure that only the right people are coming in and that we judge those cases expeditiously at the border. So it's true, there are very few people crossing on a daily basis, but that's because the Trump administration is violating the law.
Listen to
You
this
guys aren't violating
crazy.
the law. You can still go through a port of entry. It's just all the legal ways to get across the border are locked down, which you promised you were going to do, Tom.
Yeah, look, he just proved he's not very smart. Bottom line is, the reason border crossings are so low, because we're enforcing the law. Enforcing the law that him, as a member of Congress, enacted. The law clearly says, it's under statute, if you arrive at our borders without proper documentation, You shall be detained. Not maybe, not think about it, not release them to an NGO and put them in a hotel room $500 a night. We stop catch and release. We are detaining and removing. That's exactly what we're doing. We're enforcing the laws that Congress enacts. We're not going to apologize for doing it. Bottom line is we got the most secure border in the history of this nation because of Donald Trump, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
There's a lot of Americans proud back at home. Tom, I want to get you to respond to a man that could be the next mayor of New York City. I don't know if you remember, but he confronted you at one point. I want to play this sound for you. This is him when you came to New York. Watch. Do you believe in the
When
First
you
Amendment,
think
Tom
it
Homan?
can't
What's your
get any
response?
worse.
Yeah, I believe in First Amendment. I've been enforcing the law since 1983. Bottom line is, I wasn't listening to him. I was too busy eating my Macintosh apple on the way outside of that event. So he can scream all he wants. Look, he can protest all he wants. Has that right. Bottom line is, the Trump administration is enforcing law. Not only do we have the most secure border in the history of this nation, we are removing public safety threats and national security threats at 3 times the rate Joe Biden did. And that's why, Lawrence, we need the big, beautiful bill passed ASAP. We need the money for beds. We need the money for more officers. We got over 20 million illegal aliens in this country and less than 5,000 deportation officers. We got 600,000 illegal aliens with criminal histories walking the streets of this country. We need that bill to put more boots on the ground, more badges and guns on the street to remove these public safety threats. That should be a nonpartisan issue. Everybody should agree to that.
I mean, I think we should send Tom Homan to Capitol Hill. Maybe he can get the votes done down there. Tom, thanks, brother. We appreciate you.
I'm on my way up. Capitol Hill. You
You
call?
know what? I'm about America first. Trump, Trump, Trump. This is ridiculous that it's like this country is a different country. This is no longer America. America has become a different country. It's not the same country as it was 4 years ago. Even the mindset, it's like we have people that aren't even citizens that have more they're prioritized over American citizens. And now, look at what's happening in New York. When you think that the party couldn't get any worse, now they got, what's his name, Zoran Mandani. I'm probably going to do a live about him tomorrow because there's so much to put together. But I didn't think the Democrats could go any lower. You have this man that's stating that he's a socialist and that he's going to now, as a mayor, he can't even do the things that he's offering. And I'm surprised that the union leaders in New York, I think what is SEIU or whatever, and HHT or some of the unions are supporting this nonsense. You can't have a minimum wage of $30 and then you want to get rid of the billionaires because they're the ones that own the companies. They no longer talk about millionaires because Congress is full of nothing but millionaires. So now they keep on trying to tell people, oh, it's the billionaires. Well, guess what? When they leave that city, the money's leaving with them because those are the ones that have the jobs. The jobs are coming from these company owners. That's who have the jobs. How are you going to have free transportation on buses when they have a tax? I think they have some sort of driving tax that they have to pay to be able to drive their car. In New York, if I'm not mistaken, it's some kind of crazy tax. They can't pay for their streets to be clean. They already went in the hole of $2 billion for the illegal immigrants that are residing in there. So how are they? He's proposing stuff that he can't do, but people say, "Oh, we could get free house. Oh, we could get free money." It's not free.
Yeah, we are Christian and support
It's
Trump.
not free.
Someone said you're a Trump supporter and have the nerve to be a Christian. Girl, bye.
You know what? You, Trump. I am no longer in that toxic Democrat Party.
Demonic.
Let me tell you something. The Democratic Party been in charge for how many years? 16 out of the last 12 years. What have they done for black people? What have they done for us? They had the Senate. They had the House. They had the Senate. They had the House of Representatives, and they had the presidency. What did they do for us?
Tell me.
Open the borders?
Tell me what they have done that's of God compared to the Republican Party. Just tell me that.
So you're saying God is in abortion? Oh, that's right, because God is without sin. So God is in abortion. God is for eliminating babies, marriages, right? God is all in that. God is unable to define what a woman is. God is all in that. So that's what God is all about. That sinful, that party is not the same. God is into LGBTQ. I thought in the beginning in Genesis 1:26, God said, be fruitful and multiply. So I'm confused because the God I serve is without sin. God is not in that. He's not in that party. That is not the same party of yesteryear. That party has changed, and it's changed for the worse.
Of course, they disappear now and don't say anything.
Because it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. The things, and then the thing with ICE, like migrants ambush ICE. What's going to happen when there's no law and order? Now, even this guy, Zoran, what's his name? Zoran Mandandi, he's proposing no ICE. Here we go. He's proposing no ICE in New York, no police officers. He wants social workers. How you think that's going to pan out? You have a sanctuary city with lawlessness already, and people that are not even from this country are overpowering the police officers as it is. So if you don't have law and order, you're not going to have a civil society. That's a fact. So now he's saying that he don't want them there. They're like, he's fighting them. We just showed a video. He's all up there, like the police are supposed to protect him. He's fighting the police. So you're going to put all these people in sanctuary cities, and now you don't want ICE to even get the criminals out. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I think people have lost their mind. When you think the Democratic Party couldn't get any worse, then they come up with this dude, a socialist. He act like it's something to be proud about. He's saying all the right things. He's even act like he's using some of Dr. Martin Luther King's speeches. He got Al Sharpton. He always show up for the money. He always show up. Well, how much did Kamala pay him? A $500,000 to show up for her? Get all the black people. Get all the Hispanic. Get all the people. This guy is dangerous. It's just unbelievable when you think the Democratic Party, and they say all the things they say and do nothing for us. They've been in power. They've been in power all this time. They've been in power. And look what they have done to this country. And it's not even the immigrants that's been here for 20, 25 years. Y'all need to apply for y'all citizenship. Y'all knew how to come into this country, respect the country, do your jobs, and just be happy to be here. The people that have come in the last 4 years, look at the chaos. Look at what's going on. They think that they're going to have more. They think they're so entitled that us as Americans, when we speak up, they act like they are more entitled than we are, even using our taxpayer dollars.
Someone said Barron Trump 2044.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You mean 2028?
No, his son, his younger son.
Oh, man. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know what has happened to this country, but it's not the same.
Escape with the detainee through a large grass field.
That's when an independent demonstrator decided to move in.
Bad idea.
His truck to try to cut off.
They all living in single homes. They not working on farms.
He cut off the truck, but there was no actual impact.
Detroit police were already at the scene because the federal agency requested they be there to keep the peace.
And it's a good thing they were there because one of these nut jobs just drove their car at federal agents while they had one of these fugitives inside. They could have injured somebody.
Detroit police have now launched an investigation after this demonstrator allegedly interfered with the federal investigation.
As an organization, we don't endorse hopping in your cars to go try to cut off vehicles as they drive away. But at the same time,
we're proud of
this is an expression of folks who are incredibly frustrated.
Detroit police took this demonstrator
totally in
into
favor.
custody, and another person was also arrested for malicious destruction of property of a separate federal vehicle. And that's not all. Detroit police then used pepper spray after protesters entered the street and approached a scout car.
We're not endorsing any, radical action as an organization,
But at the same time, here's how I'm going to defend what the radical activists do. I get it, buddy.
Time, if people decide to take that on their own, we're not here to condemn them either.
ICE officials released a statement to Fox 2 which reads in part, "It is a crime to obstruct or otherwise interfere with an ICE arrest, and anyone involved may be subject to prosecution."
As they should be. And it's not like ICE is trying to arrest people who aren't a danger to society.
Well, new federal data reveals exactly who ICE is arresting here in Tennessee.
The majority of people arrested have a criminal record, except for one weekend that turned in the trend on its head. State Capitol reporter Tori Gessner explains.
Deport the worst first. It was a promise made by the Trump administration from the beginning.
As President Trump committed to, we're going to remove the public safety threats and national security threats first. And that's what we're doing throughout the country.
And in Tennessee, new data from ICE shows that's generally been the case. According to the numbers obtained through a public records lawsuit first released by the Deportation Data Project, about 80% of people ICE have arrested this year in Tennessee have either had a criminal conviction or a pending charge. Wow. Republican lawmakers aren't shocked by the stats.
President Trump has indicated that he is after the criminal illegal aliens in the country.
The number of ICE arrests each day in Tennessee has more than doubled according to the data, increasing from 6.8 per day last year to almost 17 today.
17
that
people
adds
a
up
day.
to almost 2,700 arrests made so far this year. Almost 45% of them convicted criminals.
That's
almost
crazy.
36% with pending criminal charges, according.
Why are activists defending these people? These people deserve to be in that bus headed out of our country.
But the first weekend of May seems to be an outlier. Tennessee Highway Patrol targeted a predominantly Hispanic area of Nashville with traffic stops, while ICE agents followed along. According to the data, nearly 70% of those arrested statewide during the first weekend of the operation had no criminal record.
Reality here is that all evidence tends to point towards the fact that they racially and ethnically profiled individuals in South Nashville seeking to carry out the will of the federal government.
But Republican Representative Lee Reeves argues the people arrested still broke the law by leaving the country illegally. He hopes more law enforcement agencies enter agreements with the feds so local police can have the power to enforce immigration laws.
The ability to identify criminal illegal aliens in our prisons and serve them warrants inside the prisons is a clear win for Tennessee citizens.
So, you know what's interesting about this? In Tennessee, they have very, very few protests going on because they don't encourage mass illegal immigration. But protesters in sanctuary cities think they've got a way to get rid of ICE once and for all.
Meantime, several SoCal communities are canceling and postponing July 4th celebrations following immigration raids throughout the region. Some officials saying it's being done in an abundance of caution for the safety of residents.
That's not the way
Others
they're doing it.
saying that people in their communities are just not in the mood to celebrate America.
There you go.
Former Democrat leader of the California State Senate, Gloria Romero, joins me now. Gloria, what's your reaction to these Democrat cities cutting off their nose to spite their face?
Well, that's exactly what they're doing. And they're basically canceling America.
Yeah.
They're canceling patriotism. I mean, the recent Gallup poll that showed that Democrats, only 36%, basically say they're proud to be an American. What we are seeing in LA County, and there's 10 million of us in LA County, we are basically led by a far left, ultra woke, TDS suffering, fools. And, but quite frankly, they are not going to quash our patriotism and joy for this 4th of July. It won't work.
So it makes sense to me that in Los Angeles, where everybody hates America and would rather riot and protest against America, they would cancel the 4th of July. What's the point of a holiday people are offended by? And you know something? If they couldn't cancel it because of ICE, eventually they'd cancel it because it's offensive to people. But I'm going to tell you what, there are some people who won't be celebrating independence at all because of where they're moving into this weekend.
Everybody we arrest we need a bed, because they're going to be in detention from several days to several months, depending on the case. So, and yesterday, I didn't see the numbers today, but yesterday I woke up, we had 1,600 beds across the nation empty, 1,600. We'll fill them in a day.
Yeah.
And we're constantly playing this keep up. We got to move so many people. We can only arrest so many people. This day we got so many beds. So these will give us a little breathing room, give us extra beds, so we can target more criminals throughout the country.
Everybody's talking fiscal austerity. You're not a lawmaker, but you do have to deal with budgets. And they look at this line item, and it's one of the biggest ads, hundreds of billions of dollars to run this one facility. And again, people look at it and say, do we really need this? Why do we need to put this much money and emphasis on deporting people who've entered illegally?
Well, let's compare it to the last administration. Okay, they were putting illegal aliens in hotel rooms in New York City for like $500 a night, and that's
It was so much more expensive to have the asylum crisis than any of this immigration enforcement. I'm here in New York right now. I know how much this costs. And the idea that we can't afford this, that's just such a ludicrous thing. You can't put a price on safety, but you can put a price on hotel rooms for people who are illegally in America.
for a hotel room. Then they had to pay for food, three meals a day. They had to pay for medical care. They had to pay for attorney access. All these other things were added to that $500 a night. So who knows what the cost was, really? I don't have that number.
12 billion over years for New York City.
Just under 300 is what I was briefed on, and that includes 3 meals a day, full medical, doctors and nurses on site. So you got food, you got medical, and what's great about this facility, Chris, is there's an airstrip right there. So we can also have additional efficiencies on transportation, because we have air transport in Arizona, we got in Texas, we got in Louisiana. Having an airstrip in Florida, we have all the East Coast states staging in Florida, instead of having sending some to Louisiana, sending someone to Arizona for a removal of Central America or to Asia. Now we have an airstrip right there in Florida, which is not only benefits that facility, because we're going to have immigration hearings also at that facility in Florida, which means when they are deported and we get a plane load, we can simply load a plane right there and take it.
Wow, that is going to drive the activists absolutely insane. So you see these tents right here? People will live there temporarily while they're in detention. And in these tents, there will also be a tent courtroom that tells people they can't be here. And then there's an airstrip where the people who can't be here will be brought and flown out of America. That's why it's half the price of a New York City asylum shelter to run this. Wow. It's so efficient.
You say, look, we're targeting the guys and the women, I guess, also, who are a threat to society. It's 3 out of 4 are traffic, immigration, or other low-level offenses.
Still here
Only 1 out of the 4
Other
are
serious
serious
crimes.
felons. Is that the right ratio?
No, I don't think it is at all. I mean, the vast majority of people arresting have criminal conviction, public safety threats. But, and people look at, for instance, we arrest some people in county jails in non-sanctuary states, and they have a pending criminal case. So we found them in the county jail, which most likely means they're not a choir boy. So they're pending criminal charges. The left don't want to count that. They say, well, they're not criminals, they're not convicted yet. Yeah. However, they've been arrested for criminal charges sitting in the county jail. We're not going to sit waiting for conviction, because a lot of prosecutors will say, look, if you're going to deport them, we'll just drop the case and deport them and save the taxpayer a lot of money. However, the prosecutor wants to prosecute them. We work with the prosecutor to do a writ, saying we'll put them back in your custody for prosecution if you guarantee after you're done you release them to us.
But the underlying problem here is that every single person being deported is already here without permission, and coming here without permission, that's one crime, and remaining here without permission, that's another crime. So there's 2 crimes every single one of these folks has committed just by being here in an unlawful capacity.
Don't spam it, I'm gonna remove
What do
you.
you think about that? What do you think about people canceling the 4th of July? Were they gonna find a way to do that anyways? And now
Canceling the 4th of July, has that ever happened?
Let me know. Thank you so much for watching.
You know, that's Cash Jordan. You guys need to follow him. He's amazing. He's like boots on the ground in New York. But since you've been here, and especially Americans that have been born in the United States, when have you ever heard of the 4th of July being canceled? Because if this is not a different country, that's a sign right there
So what?
that they can't even celebrate the 4th of July, all right?
Someone in the chat asked us to give a coherent reason why we support Donald Trump.
If they want to ask a question, don't forget to super chat us. Don't forget, so your question to stand out, and we will answer all those
Hey,
questions.
this guy's spamming.
But
Check it
don't
out.
forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe. This is Speak the Truth. The truth hurts. The truth hurts, and we get that question all the time, and we want to find out what you think. Like, what do you think about what's happening in this country as a whole? Is this the same America that it was prior to those open borders? Now, we always had immigrants. We don't have a problem with immigrants. It's like the ones that came in, like Trump saying it's up to 20 million or however many it is. They say it's enough for like 4 states worth of people have entered into this country. It's like, to me, it's a different temperature. There's a different vibe. Like the people that's coming in now, they don't respect Americans at all. They don't respect our country. They don't respect our military that fought and died to keep the citizens of this country safe. I'm really confused about like what's going on at this point. Like the things that we're putting up with, we could never go around hitting our cops upside the head, destroying their vehicles, beating them up, pushing back, and telling our law enforcers what to do. When has that happened?
Nick, Trump has been in office for just 5
months.
5 months now.
Yeah, 5 months.
He said, I like an answer because prices are up and less people are being deported than Obama and Biden.
Yeah, less people. He's only been in office for 5 months, but he didn't have non-citizens when he was deporting, because he deported more than anybody else, they said, in history of the United States. But he didn't have non-citizens and illegal aliens and paid American citizens fighting him. When have you ever seen people, if somebody is a rapist or murderer, that the people are rising up and saying, don't lock them up, let them go? People fled their countries because they said that that's what they left back home. But they brought it here. It's here now. We the American citizens, we didn't sign up for this. This was a Democratic Party. They had their own little devilish plan to destroy this country, and they running around acting like it's everybody's fault except for theirs.
We live in an upper class neighborhood, dude.
Except for theirs.
See, people go tooth and nail for these illegal immigrants. Like, people in the chat getting violent over these illegal immigrants.
You know what? We bind it up in the name of Jesus. No weapon formed against us shall prosper, and every tongue that rise up in judgment, thou shalt condemn. That's our righteousness is in Jesus. And we live in a country that you're not going to stop people from having freedom of speech. If you don't like the content, then you have to go somewhere else where somebody's going to say what you want to hear. That's your choice. But you are allowed to be on this platform as long as you are respectful. But if you're going to be threatening us and you can't speak in a clear, concise manner, you don't know how to use a dictionary, then you're not going to be on this channel. You're going to bounce. And that's the bottom line. Now, if you have something to say and you want us to respond to it, then you have to do a super chat. And then I'll read it and I'll respond to it. Other than that, talk to everyone else in the chat, because Americans are in there. You have Republicans, you have Democrats, you have non-voters, and you have independents. We're all there, and we're one nation under God. And we have to stop being in disagreement with one another. The election is over. Trump is the president.
Yeah, Prime Minister, Chris, you're about to get banned from the chat. You keep spamming.
Yeah, well, they have, we're not going to allow that. You're not going to just come on the channel and spam. That's not getting your point across, because you're just going to get bounced off.
Nick, they're doing all they can to deport people right now, but there's people fighting against Trump.
Y'all see what's going on. Y'all know good and well what's going on with all them attacking ICE officers. And now what Homan was talking back, and we're going to go back to that, He was talking about how they are using an app to alert people before they get there and all of that. And when people have a fit when they arresting people out on the street, but these sanctuary states won't allow them to go into the prisons. So wouldn't that solve a lot right there? Do y'all want that solved? Allow ICE to arrest them right in jail. Don't allow them to hit the street again. Arrest them. And then other people who they are not after will not get caught up in the sweep. But what you have going on now, you have people that are out there fighting the officers, and those Americans are being arrested because you can't go out there and beating up the cops. That's called assault. You're going to go to jail for 17, 18, 20 years for that. You can't do that here. And Trump is not going to allow non-citizens and anti-Americans to take over this country. He's not going to allow that. It's not going to happen.
A lot of them have no respect for the country, too.
They have no respect for this country.
Burning the flag.
Because when you do too much for people, they don't respect you. Too much has been done for them. When you give your children everything they want, then they don't show any appreciation. So when we gave them luxury apartments, we gave them SNAP, $13,000 on SNAP. We gave them education. We gave them college. We gave them health care, Social Security. They on our Medicaid. They on our Medicare. We gave them everything they didn't have to work for, like the rest of us. And the way that they show their appreciation, they burn our flag. And they disrespect our leadership. They don't want to follow our laws. They think they have entitlement. And they broke the law coming into our country. That's what's going on now. But they have Trump, he's going through all this. But when President Obama and all the rest of them,
yeah, we need mods.
And all the rest of them, when they were all for not allowing people to enter our country illegally, and the Democrats, that's all they talked about. Every last one of these presidents.
Oh, peach mama, we're totally for, obviously we're black, but totally for the black community and our progression in society.
And we don't progress by not waking
Something
up.
that is not thought through and is primarily put forward for political consumption.
Democrats are for a barrier.
For us will certainly do some good. It will authorize some badly needed funding for better fences and better security on our borders.
The fence is now basically complete. Maybe they'll need a moat.
Listen.
Maybe they want alligators in the moat.
Listen up. He came up with
personnel,
Alcatraz.
Physical barriers if necessary in some places.
Crocodile
We will not
Alcatraz.
build a wall. Instead, we will build an economy where everyone who wants a good job can get one.
I voted for a fence. I voted unlike most Democrats.
That's Biden.
I voted for 700-mile fence. Let me tell you something, folks. People are driving across that border with tons, hear me, tons of everything from byproducts of methamphetamine to cocaine to heroin.
Biden. That was an undercover video.
And the impulse is to hunker down, shut the gates, build walls, exit at this moment is precisely the wrong answer.
Former presidents have said to him that they wish that they had built a wall. Do you recall President Obama ever saying that?
Come on.
Construction of a 630-mile border fence create a significant barrier to illegal immigration on our southern land border.
Schumer.
All along, the president saying, well, I'll do DACA and Dreamers in return for the wall. He's got it, President Trump. If you want to open the government, you must abandon the wall.
That was Democrat leaders, right? That was President Obama. That was former Secretary of State, former First Lady Hillary Clinton. That was Joe Biden. That was an undercover. He was at a meeting and someone videotaped him talking about how much wall that he was building. All of this stuff was going on. And then Trump comes along, but they didn't deal with MS-13, Trinidad Araga cartel. We got Iranians are here. We got Hamas. We have Chinese nationalists. Everybody's in this country because of the last administration. Y'all gonna be really looking for ICE one day. Seriously. Because the unrest that's going on, if we allow what's going on to happen and we do nothing about it, you know what's going to happen? It's going to escalate. You know how you don't punish your kids when they did something bad? Guess what they're going to do? They're going to do it again. And they're going to do it again.
Oh, Roger called you beautiful.
Oh, thank you. They're going to do it again. So if you continue to allow them to disrespect our country and disrespect our laws, what country are you going to go to that you're not going to respect the laws of that country? Especially one that you're not even the citizen of. Let's start with, you're not even the citizen. You can't do that in China. You can't do that in Russia. You can't do that in Europe. You can't do it anywhere on this earth. How long are we supposed to allow this bad behavior to continue? You have to shut it down. Because the only thing it's going to do is grow. And the criminals, they looking at these people are crazy. They never did this for us in our country. They fighting it. Don't they know I raped that child? Did they know that I just robbed that store? Oh, they talking about free me. They fighting for me. How honored they must feel. And you know what they do? These anti-Americans, they arrested an American. Yeah, they arrested that American that was knocking that cop upside the head. They arrested that American that's interfering with the law enforcement from doing their job. From doing their job. You saw all those presidents and former presidents and Secretary of State, all of them, and Schumer, he's like the head of the Democratic Party. They all was for the wall. See, so what changed them in 2020 that they opened it wide open? They opened it wide open. They were completely against that. It was all about the votes. It's all about money. When are y'all going to get? We've been gaslighted. They want us fighting each other. They want us to be divided instead of them working for us together. I want my Democratic leadership and my Republican leadership, I want them working together.
Yeah, Prime Chris, you just want attention. You're getting banned.
I want them working for me like they're supposed to. Because they're gaslighting. As long as they just have us focusing on Trump, that takes the weight off of them from doing their damn job. And they did this to this country, but you're not holding them responsible. It's not happening. You got to have someone making sure that we have law and order. That's anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. And we got these crazy Democrats. Democrats have y'all look, I'm so glad that I voted for Trump. I'm so glad that I voted Republican. I am not supporting that mess. I will never support the Democratic Party again. As long as they're not working for me. As long as they're not following my principles, my morals and principles. I'm with God. That's why I voted for Trump and didn't vote for them. Because God is not in LGBTQ. He loved them. That's not saying he doesn't love them. But God is not about that. God is not in same-sex marriages. This is what they have become. When Obama came in office 10 years ago, Obama started that. He was put in office to start the LGBTQ, this gay agenda. That's when the party changed from the party of yesteryear. That was the beginning of the change. Y'all didn't even see it. Y'all didn't even see it. Well, we live in the last days. This is for sure. Because God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah for all the perversion that was going on. That's perversion. That's sin. That's sin. It's sin. God is not in sin. And the things that they start becoming, who's going to have a convention? I was at the DNC 2020 convention. And I was on the floor. I'm legislative director, totally involved with everything. But if they would have had people getting abortions outside of that conference, I would have never been there. I would have never been there. That's what they have become. Then they got away from voting on policy. They've been in charge. But they got away from voting on policy. They wanted you to vote on the vote because they want abortion. What kind of, how was that even allowed? That was their talking point. When they should have been telling us how great the economy was with them in charge, how great inflation was with them in charge, how safe the country was with them in charge, how there were no wars with them in charge. Why didn't they talk like that at all? And now they're trying to gaslight us while they do nothing. We need to read that big beautiful bill because nothing is perfect. And their job is to make sure that it's good for everyone. That's the job. But we have to do something. We're $36 trillion in debt and nobody want to tackle it except for Trump. So, we're just going to perish if we do nothing about what's going on. We have to do something. We have to do something. Our streets are being taken over. But this thing like with Homan, what he was talking about and what's going on inside of this country, it's like we're crazy now. It's like right is wrong and wrong is right.
Well, with my next guest, Board Czar Tom Homan joins me now. Tom, they've crossed the line here. This is out of control.
I know, it's just simply disgusting, and any network that covers that is disgusting as well. So I'm hoping DOJ steps in there and see if they cross
Trump
that
is
line.
past lining his pockets.
Look, Lawrence, you're not talking
He's
about
past that.
social security size is up over 500%. Now you got an app that's going to tell where ICE operations are going to be.
They're going crazy.
It's only a matter of time before ICE agents are ambushed by some nut, like what happened in LA, throwing a Molotov cocktail, throwing bricks at these officers. This is just disgusting at every level. So I hope DOJ dives in this deeply, because ICE is concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. This shouldn't be a partisan issue. This shouldn't be an issue anybody is against. So they're already a dangerous job going after the worst of the worst. These guys are putting their lives on the line every day going after the worst of the worst international security threat. And this app makes it that much more dangerous. It's incredible that those who enforce law, all of a sudden they're the bad guys. The ones who break the law, they're victims. It's disgusting.
Why would CNN promote this? Why would they do a story on this?
I can't figure it out. I've been doing this for 4 decades. I've never seen anything like this in my life. It's got to be they hate Trump more than love law enforcement. I can't figure it out. But something needs to be done. I mean, you advertise this guy's app on a national TV network. This is going to bring more followers, sick followers, to the app and use it. Again, letting the bad guy know ICE is coming. They're here. Here's where they're going next. This is dangerous for the men and women of law enforcement.
So true, Tom. I want to get you to weigh in on another story. So a judge has decided to delay Abrego Garcia's release from a Tennessee jail over deportation concerns. Not because he's a public safety risk, not because he beat his wife, not because he trafficked people across the border, not because people died in vans because of his trafficking, but because they don't want the guy to be deported. Should a judge be doing this?
Absolutely not. It's just another disgusting story. This judge is telling us, I don't want you to abide by the federal court order issued by 2 different federal judges that this person needs to be deported. So he's basically telling us, ignore the orders issued by 2 federal judges. I'm going to make my own independent, radical decision. Again, DOJ is on top of this. We got a great AG and Pam Bondi. I think they'll take this fight all the way. Bottom line is, there's no place in this country for this man. He needs to be sent home.
It's unbelievable that the judges now become these activists right now. If they want to be activists, they can take the robe off. Any of the judges that I work for in juvenile court, they would never tolerate this type of behavior. I want to get you to weigh in on Senator Chris Murphy. He's angry that the border numbers and the crossings are so low. This is the Senator Watch.
Border crossings are at a record low. Do you give the Trump administration some credit for that?
No, I don't give them credit for that because border crossings are low because they're violating the law every day. We wrote that bipartisan bill last year to reform the asylum process, to make sure that only the right people are coming in and that we judge those cases expeditiously at the border. So it's true, there are very few people crossing on a daily basis, but that's because the Trump administration is violating the law.
You guys aren't violating the law. You can still go through a port of entry. It's just all the legal ways to get across the border are locked down, which you promised you were going to do, Tom.
Yeah, look, he just proved he's not very smart. Bottom line is, the reason the border crossings are so low, because we're enforcing the law. Enforcing the law that him, as a member of Congress, enacted. The law clearly says, it's under statute, if you arrive at our borders without proper documentation, you shall be detained. Not maybe, not think about it, not release them to an NGO and put them in a hotel room $500 a night. We stop catch and release. We are detaining and removing. That's exactly what we're doing. We're enforcing the laws that Congress enacts, and we're not going to apologize for doing it. Bottom line is, we got the most secure border in the history of this nation because of Donald Trump, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
There's a lot of Americans proud back at home. Tom, I want to get you to respond to a man that could be the next mayor of New York City. I don't know if you remember, but he confronted you at one point. I want to play this sound for you. This is him when you came to New York. Watch.
Look at this mess. Democrats.
Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan? What's your response?
Yeah, I believe in First Amendment. I've been enforcing the law since 1983. Bottom line is, I wasn't listening to him. I was too busy eating my Macintosh apple on the way outside of that event. So he can scream all he wants. Look, he can protest all he wants, has that right. Bottom line is, the Trump administration is enforcing law. Not only do we have the most secure border in the history of this nation, we are removing public safety threats and national security threats at 3 times the rate Joe Biden did. And that's why, Lawrence, we need the big, beautiful bill passed ASAP. We need the money for beds. We need the money for more officers. We got over 20 million illegal aliens in this country and less than 5,000 deportation officers. We got 600,000 illegal aliens with criminal histories walking the streets of this country. We need that bill to put more boots on the ground, more badges and guns on the street to remove these public safety threats. That should be a nonpartisan issue. Everybody should agree to that.
I mean, I think we should send Tom Homan to Capitol Hill. Maybe he can get the votes done down there. Tom, thanks, brother. We appreciate you.
I'm on my way up. You called it, I'm on my way.
Hey, thanks, brother. I appreciate you.
I don't know what you guys think about this. It's like the Democrats, y'all are losing their minds. When you think it can't get any worse than y'all, where did y'all find him? Zuham Dandy? I mean, this is like ridiculous at this point. You know, the things that he's offering, he can't deliver on it. He's not going to be able to deliver on it. It's like I feel like we're in some freaking Twilight Zone, and we need to like wake up out of it. It's like a bad written movie, because the stuff that's going on doesn't make any sense. People are being so gaslighted, and that they can't determine what's right and what's wrong. It's like the criminals are right and the law enforcement are wrong. How did that happen? How did the criminals, they're the victims, and the law enforcement, they're the bad guys? Because if that man that's running for mayor, and what's his name, Zoran Mandani, if he gets elected, he doesn't want ICE in New York. You know what's going on in New York City right now with cops there? He said he wants to replace cops with social workers. How do you think that's going to work out? That with a sanctuary city where you can have criminals that can hang out, they're going to have to get rid of those sanctuary cities, period. How is that going to work out? If you make cops, instead of having cops, you want social workers. He wants to keep ICE out of the cities. He wants it to be $30 minimum wages. Where are they going to get the money from? What business can afford to pay your everyone a minimum pay wage of $30 an hour? But you want to get rid of the billionaires who are the ones with the companies to be able to pay people. So what happens when they leave, when all those companies hightail it out of New York because there's no order there? There's no safety there. What's going to happen when they leave? And they just freely throw around like everybody's a billionaire. No, there's more millionaires than billionaires. There's more millionaires that have jobs that's giving jobs to people. Everyone in Congress is a millionaire. That's why they say billionaires and make y'all think it's the rich and the greedy. No, they're the rich. Bernie Sanders is a millionaire. AOC is a millionaire. Jasmine Crocker is a millionaire. Nancy Pelosi is a millionaire. These are multi-millionaires. Let me say multi. They all millionaires. But they want you to think that they poor or they don't have money, that they just like you, and they're not. They're flying on jets and they're living in mansions. That's who they are. They're not living in a little house or an apartment. They have the Benjamins. But they want you to think that they don't have anything. That's why they behave. They found out that AOC is from Yorktown, New York, and she tried to act like she was from the Bronx.
Nick, if the billionaires leave, this economy will be doomed. The economy is flourishing because of billionaires. They're the ones who own the largest companies in this world.
And free busing. They can't even drive their cars in New York. They can't even get their streets clean. They ran out of money. They spent $2 billion on illegal immigrants. That's not bringing money in the city. $2 billion. It's insanity on another level. It really is. So where's the money going to come from? Where are they going to get the money from? Where's this money coming from? Who's going to pay for these people to have jobs? Who's going to pay for the free housing, no cops, no ICE, no law and order? And you know what happens in New York as it is, right? It's like the Democrats have lost their minds. Like, I didn't think it could get any worse. I really didn't. It's no way that I would be a part of that party. And my goal is 2028. Guess what? If you look all around the internet, more of us, I'm talking about the black community, we're waking up. We're waking up to all this nonsense. We're waking up to all the promises that haven't been kept. We're waking up to all the lies. We're waking up to all the fake politicians and the fake leadership like Al Sharpton. He ain't my leader though. You got Jamal Bryan running out there, running around to my DEI. Like we're going to shut down Target when Target has given how many billions to the black community?
And HBCUs.
And HBCUs. Oh, I got to do that story about what Target has done for black community.
Can't forget about Charlemagne.
Oh, Charlemagne the God. Oh, give me a break. These are not no Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther Kings. That ship has sailed. You know, those are supposed to be the outspoken ones, right? No, they're not. We got all these fake leaders that they're getting paid, or they want to be leaders. They're not leaders. They want to be leaders. They're getting paid under the table to manipulate how we think, to influence our votes, and sing us a song and dance, and they do nothing for us. No, they had an opportunity. They've had an opportunity. They've been in charge, not the Republicans. The Democrats have been in charge.
But it's like you
terrible.
were saying that the Democrats are going to come back with a vengeance. If they win again, hopefully never, but if they win again.
Oh, they win again. They're going to go back to men and women's sports. Drag queens, like even parents couldn't even decide that poison they want to teach your kids. I don't know how many men are on here. I don't know how many men want their sons sitting up there with some man, some drag queen, reading to them. Now, our kids are failing in school. They're failing reading and math. We spent like $72 billion or something like that because these illegal immigrants, their children can't speak the language. And our kids can't read and write. But their priority was pushing that agenda. Not the kids can't read and write. Pushing that agenda. That's what they're about. Everything that's corrupt and go against nature and the word of God, that's what they're doing. And I'm done with that. I'm done with it. Unless we have another party or something like that, I'm not voting for the Democratic Party because they full of it. They don't support Americans. They don't fight for black people. They don't fight for white people. They don't fight for Asians. They don't fight for Latinos. They're not fighting for us. We're not their agenda. Their agenda is illegal immigrants. And mind you, I just showed you with Obama, Joe Biden, all of them, Schumer, Hillary. They were all about the border wall. I'm going to do a whole videos on that. That was just little clips I showed you. But I'm going to show you their conversations. Everything. You heard Obama saying we need to have a prison and put alligators around it. Didn't Trump just do that with Alcatraz?
And that shows that Biden wasn't in control, that he was being just auto-pinned and told.
Yeah, it was an auto-pin. He was against that.
Yeah.
Obama came with that idea. And why are we feel like we got to have these criminals put in, not now they're going to go from luxury apartments to luxury detention centers. They got to make sure that they have the best air conditioning. They got a chef cooking for them, I guess. They got their medical doctors. They have everything for them. But this is what I want our leaders to do. Our leaders, Democrat, Republican, all of y'all are supposed to be the leaders. Go check on American prisons. Go check on Americans and the conditions that our American citizens, what are they going through in these prisons that they're in. Take that same concern about American prisoners being raped. Have that same energy looking into their conditions like you do for foreigners who are criminals. Have that same energy. Y'all worried about them having luxury. What about people who are actually American citizens? Say about them. Spend some of our tax money on their conditions. Do that. People fled these communist countries, and here in New York, they want to elect a communist. What happened to America? 4 years. 4 years. It's crazy.
Raised in a communist country, and I know what it means. I've seen that movie before, and I don't like the ending of it. When I hear elected officials who come to the United States from other countries, and they are not compatible with the American foundation, if you will, and they come over here and they want to promote the exact failed liberal policies or communist policies that they left behind in their countries.
Left it behind, bringing it here.
When you hear President Trump, one of the greatest presidents we ever had, I would say that, look, this is a communist. This guy openly wants to promote communist values in our country, and this is not compatible with the foundation of this country. When he wants to have command and control over the economy, forced redistribution of property, these are things that have been tried in Eastern Europe. They were tried in the Soviet Union. They're being tried in Venezuela, Cuba, you name it, and they are a complete failure. We must not allow this to spread in the United States because this is not American at all.
Specifically, when you hear Mamdani talk about seizing the means of production, not my words, his words exactly, does that bring back absolutely horrible memories of your time in communist Albania?
It does, absolutely it does, because when you have forced redistribution of property, you cannot have socialism without brute force of the government. In order for you or someone to implement those policies, you're going to have to use the government agencies to do that. You're going to have to use force to do that. When communism took over Albania and they dispossessed people from their property, they had to use government agencies to do that. They had to arrest people. They had to torture people. They wound up killing people, including my own father, because he will not comply with the requirements or the demands of the communist regime. And this is very dangerous thing to bring to the United States. This is the problem that we are importing into the West. We're bringing cultures that are not compatible with us, that they do not have any regards for the foundation of this country, the Constitution, the founding documents, capitalism. What has made this nation great is being attacked by the people who come here under the pretense that they want to be Americans, and the moment they get the citizenship, some of them, they want to dismantle the system that made them great, actually, and gave them the opportunity to be what they are.
to that point, a lot of the criticism for individuals like Mamdani and also Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is this notion that, in Mamdani's case, his parents, in Omar's case, her, if you hate the country so much, why do you try to come here? And that leads me to this concerning question. Is it to fundamentally change America? Are they coming here in order to change what you and I consider to be America?
Absolutely. I mean, the moment they become American citizens, and if you look at these people who were not born here, including me, when you become an American citizen, you have to complete a form called N-400. At the end of that form, you get sworn in that you will uphold the Constitution of the United States, you will protect and defend the laws of this country. If this guy really got sworn in to become an American citizen and to uphold the Constitution of this country, I think that there's a process that you can denaturalize someone. You can revoke their citizenship if they misled the adjudicator at the time that they became American citizens. And there is nothing wrong with the Department of Justice to look into some of these applications that were filed by these non-American born citizens who are running for office, as to whether they are capable or if they want to uphold the Constitution of the laws of this country. Because if you have these people coming from these third world countries and we're importing them, we're importing at the same time the problems that we're facing here. We cannot allow this to happen to this country.
The left is saying, oh, the right and many Democrats are exaggerating the impact of Mamdani, exaggerating the impact he would have. Is it an exaggeration to think that we, in the city of New York, could see Soviet-era red lines if Mamdani's elected?
Well, you could. Well, you know, what is disturbing is the fact that you have elected officials, and including our state of Connecticut, actually, when you have the governor that says that we are implementing these policies, some of these policies that Mamdani is promoting so far. They have Chris Murphy, who's a United States Senator, actually, who pretty much promotes or embraces what Mamdani stands for. And these elected officials should be our concern that you're embracing these failed liberal policies. That can happen. It happens in our country, in other countries too. Look at Venezuela, one of the richest countries, in the Western Hemisphere at one point. Now people are, fleeing the country. In 2013, Albania, the Socialist Party of Albania came to power again. From 2013 to present, 500,000 people have fled the country. That's 500,000 people. They are fleeing every single day because they cannot afford living in that country. They cannot. They are being oppressed. They are being denied their basic rights. So we have to learn from what's happening in these socialist countries and try to prevent that ideology, which is an evil ideology.
I'm Steve Ducey.
Yeah, it's coming here. Like they're bringing it here. It's like they're against America. The things that these people have fled from, now they're bringing it here. Like they want to get away from communist countries that promotes what Mamdani is trying to promote here in the United States. So I don't know. I think that we need to keep our eyes open because we're allowing these people that fled these situations, we're allowing them to come in the United States and change our culture here. Like the things that's going on, we've never had this going on 4 years ago. Just look at what's going on. All you people that's being paid to go out there and do some of these paid protests, you're protesting, you're becoming anti-American. Because this is not what we signed up for. People want to come to this country because it's supposed to be the land of the free, the red, white, and blue, the land of opportunity. But now it seems like that's fleeting for Americans. You have unions that are literally in New York supporting this guy. He can't deliver on anything that he's talking about. But if you have a good talk, a good speech, who's doing their research? He doesn't have the power, if he became mayor, to do what he's claiming. And is anybody asking him, where's the money going to come from? Everybody, it's not a bad thing. They act like it's a bad thing if you are a billionaire. Yeah. When did that become a bad thing if you work to have wealth?
You know how much they help the economy too, billionaires and taxes?
We would fall and fail if we didn't have people that exceeded. Yeah. And could hire people. They're the people that are hiring people.
The biggest companies in this world, billionaires have.
This man is talking game, and he can't deliver on anything. What people saying, oh, he said we could ride the bus for free. Oh, yeah, he can't do it. He can't do it. He can't. Who's going to pay for the transportation? Who's going to pay for upkeeping the buses? Who's going to pay for the gas? Who's going to pay? How are you going to ride for free? You're going to get free housing. Who's paying for these things? You're not going to have any cops. What do you think is going to happen if you don't have cops in New York City? No, let's replace them with we'll replace cops with social workers. So when there's a crime committed, you want to send out a social worker?
You already got the legals there.
You want to send out a social worker? And then he's going to fight ICE if they try to come in to arrest criminals. This is what these crazy people are. They think they so proud. Yeah, we're standing with him. We're standing. Are you kidding me? Y'all, even if you're an immigrant, you left that life.
The Democrats always have a new way they're going to try.
I didn't think it could get any worse. I'm not even trying to do a story on him right now. But it's just so unbelievable. It's so unbelievable how easily we're taking it. Somebody say they're going to give you free food or something, or free housing. It's not free.
He going for walks around the city.
Yeah,
smiling.
He's an assemblyman. He can't. The things he's talking about, he could try to pass something as assemblyman. He sure as hell can't do what he's saying as a mayor. Where the money coming from? It's supposed to come from the rest of the country. So the other 49 states are supposed to pay for New York not to have for free housing for everybody, free bus ride for everybody, no cops, no law and order. He don't want any law and order. Really? Minimum wage $30? Who's gonna be paying their salary? Who? You're not gonna. So you say you don't want billionaires. Who's supposed to pay them? Everybody.
And did he say free?
Everybody.
Did he say free bus rides?
Free bus rides. You know what? But that's all you got to tell people. And these people, well, he said that we're going to get free bus rides. Okay, he's going to say whatever he need to say to get voted in. He even started sounding like Dr. Martin Luther King. I heard him, he was taking stuff from his speeches. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? You know, this is absurd. He said if the Israeli prime minister comes, what's his name?
Yeah, it's like the 10 years.
Yeah, if he comes, he's going to have him arrested or... I mean, but what about your Jewish citizens? You can't... If you're the mayor, you have to be the mayor for all the people. You can't have biases.
And then they say there's a lot of Jewish people in New York City.
They have the second, I think, population of Jewish people in New York, next to Israel. I think in the country. Y'all better vote. Y'all better vote. Y'all better vote. And he's telling y'all he's a socialist. All the countries, look at England, all the socialists. Look what has happened to them.
Yeah, and I forgot the phrase, but there's a phrase people want him to condemn and speak against, but he won't speak against.
He won't speak against. Yeah, there is a phrase. Maybe you guys might know. It's a phrase they say that he won't speak. He won't speak against.
Yeah.
I think it might be condemning some of the Israelites.
Yeah, it might be going at them as a phrase, but
yeah, it's a phrase or something that he won't speak against it. Don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe, you guys. It's not, it's like, and the thing about it is like when you're talking about facts, stuff that's this is all public knowledge. It's on every channel. Look at CBS, NBC, MSNBC, Meet the Press, everybody. He was on Meet the Press. This is news for all of us. This is not spreading fear. This has been being said.
Yeah.
This is what he has said.
That's it right there. He won't condemn the
what is it? With it? He will not condemn Sharia law.
No, not that one. That one.
What? Yeah. He will not condemn. He won't condemn the
Antifada.
Oh, Antifada. I can't see it. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
So like
yeah,
Antifada. Yeah, you have to be the mayor or the governor or the president. When you get elected to these offices, you have to be for all the people that you govern over. Just like when President Trump got elected, he got elected for one nation under God. He's the president for all of us. Whether you're a Democrat, Republican, MAGA, non-voters, he's all of our president, period. If you don't like who's in office, you get to vote again in 4 years. But you got to respect the office of presidency. The world respects our president more than these Democrats. Right now, he has been used mightily around the world to put a halt to some of these wars that have been going on. And that goes without saying. He's doing a lot, and he's one person. You see what one person can make a difference? One person can make a hell of a difference. While the Democrats jump up and down, he stopped the 12-day war that was happening with Israel and Iran. He took away their nuclear capabilities that would have become a threat to the world. You know, he stopped. Right now, he's working on a ceasefire for Ukraine and Russia, and that's something that Biden was under his administration, and they never had spoken once, not one time, in 3 years, did they even communicate about stop their war. Nobody was talking until Trump.
And the question is,
crazy.
Who's the mastermind behind the Democratic Party? Because now we figured out it's not Obama.
Yeah, it's not Obama. I used to say that who was really running this country?
Yeah.
You know, the truth is going to matter. Who was running this country? Because it wasn't Biden.
Yeah.
And we know he was on vacation 40% of his presidency. So I was thinking, okay, it must be Obama, but it's bigger than Obama.
Yeah.
It's a lot bigger than Obama. This was a master plan because every one of the Democratic leaders, the previous presidents, they all spoke about having a wall to stop illegal immigration. Obama was putting them in cages. Nobody was having all these big rallies and all this stuff that's going on. I'm going to show all the videos. I might do it, not tomorrow, because Trump is having, don't forget to tune in tomorrow for July the 3rd. Trump is having a big it's like America First rally. Hopefully, that's what I'm calling it. So we'll probably come on around 5 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock. But all of the presidents has spoken about having a wall by not allowing people to come into our country illegally and to prevent it. What happened 4 years ago? And they opened it up, and they were even flying them in. They were flooding them in here.
Like you said, Trump needs to run an advertisement of them saying that about
Yeah.
keeping them out.
They always were against it. Every last one of them. Every last one of them. Every last one of them. So you got different people like speaking it out against all this crazy stuff that's going on. But we got to wake up, America. People have left their countries to get away from what has come into this country. They're bringing their ways into our country. You know, the stuff that's going on, they're acting like the criminals are innocent and the law enforcers are the criminals. Like it's like vice versa stuff that's going on now. But we have to do something about it. You know, and this Madandi, I think that's how you say his name,
becomes the likes of Zoran Mamdani, who, by the way, I like. Not trying to throw any shade on him or anything like that, but if the Democratic Party becomes him, you have no chance. You have no chance on a national basis in terms of the presidency. In Senate seats in the House, you have no chance.
Go ahead, Democrats.
Smith further proved his point by stating that America is not about free stuff. Let's watch.
You might have a democratic socialist sprinkled here and there, but that ain't what America is.
Tell them.
America's about capitalism. America's about dollars and cents. America's about an economy, a flourishing economy.
That's right.
And you know what it's not about? Free stuff.
That's right.
New York State Assembly member Zoran Mamdani has officially won the Democratic nomination for New York City mayor. After the completion of the ranked choice tabulation, Mamdani was leading with 56% of votes, while former Governor Andrew Cuomo came second with 44%. New York City's Board of Elections will certify the final vote in mid-July.
Democratic strategist Basil Smykel said in a statement, quote, "The establishment is going to have to find a way to work with them because that's where the energy is, that's where the grinding is. What does the establishment have and what are they going to put up
Go ahead
that's
and
going to be
promote that,
remotely
dude.
competitive against
Go ahead,
its
Democrats.
momentum?"
You're not going to win
Another
nothing else.
Democratic strategist, Anthony Coley, says, quote, "I'm looking to see what the business community does next. Do they meet with Mamdani and explain in stark terms that his proposals are pie in the sky and that folks he's targeting with these draconian tax increases will just leave New York
They're going to leave in droves.
First things first here, Amber, I'm not sure that even a lot of people who like Mamdani would say that's the presidential candidate that we should put up. I mean, there are things...
Well, I don't think he can run for one.
Well, no, but...
Okay, don't get scared.
The ideology,
right?
sure.
Yeah, because like the point is that there are specifics to the politics of New York City that are not applicable when you have to win Pennsylvania or Wisconsin or Michigan. And so that is part of the whole equation here. Now, Stephen A is a man with great confidence in his own opinions. Zoran Mamdani ended up, as we, I think, said, with more than 500,000 votes in New York City. Highest number accrued, I believe, by any Democratic nominee in a primary. And Basil Smykel's point about the energy, I think, is right. I think that Mamdani did, in fact, obviously elicit excitement from primary voters that Andrew Cuomo did not. I suspect Cuomo is more in line with the kind of politics that Stephen A wants, and he you know, got beaten heavily. So, the point about free stuff, like, it is true, I think, that obviously people don't want a sort of socialist command economy, but if you look at, like, I mean, is free childcare an unpopular thing for the government to...
He's probably referring to the government-run grocery stores.
Well, he is, but I mean, that's the thing. Like, even those aren't actually, that's not actually free stuff. You would still pay in the grocery store. It's a mechanism to try to keep prices down. But my point is that there are certain things, like, for example, single-payer healthcare is still much more popular in polls than our political discourse would suggest. So I don't really take Stephen A's views all that seriously, with all due respect to him, but let me know what you think.
Well, I think that this was a very unique election, and I do think the Democrats should be wary of taking too many lessons from a young, relatively good-looking, charismatic guy with a really good ad campaign in a city whose primary base of voters is probably far more progressive than the average U.S. state, and also who is running against a sort of
widely disliked opponent.
Yeah, widely disliked, disgraced former governor who had multiple scandals, was very unlikable, and really failed to ever challenge Mamdani in any kind of significant way. That's not to say that Mamdani doesn't deserve his flowers for running a really great campaign. Obviously he does. But I really want to see, I think, exit polling, if such exists for the ranked choice New York City system, to see what were the top issues being voted on by New Yorkers, what was it that they were looking for in a candidate, how much of this was a protest vote. I think those are all important things before the Democrats deciding to design their whole future based on this one guy.
Yeah, I think that the issue that you identify, which is over extrapolating from particular single elections, is a real issue, and it's a real issue here. And it's also something that I think often honestly plays out in media coverage, generally speaking. You know, someone wins a special election and it's like, oh, this now heralds a massive sea change in this, that, or the other. And oftentimes it doesn't. Oftentimes it's the consequence of specific circumstances. I absolutely take the point that in this instance, the lack of appeal of Andrew Cuomo was a part of Mamdani's victory, and that is not to, as you say, sort of besmirch what Mamdani did. I do think that although the electorate in New York is clearly more progressive than most American states, it is the case that Mamdani was able to speak in a very direct way and with conviction. I think one of his advantages over Cuomo, beyond the likability thing, was if you have candidates who genuinely believe what they're saying, they are much more fluent in explaining that than somebody who's trying to thread needles or obey focus groups or placate certain constituencies. I think Mamdani did that, and some of the simpler or more direct slogans, we're going to create free buses for people, we're going to have free childcare for everyone, those kind of things had a real appeal, and good for him. I don't think that, particularly in a city like New York or some other major cities, that the fact that someone is a democratic socialist necessarily renders them unelectable. Probably renders them unelectable in a national election, but he's not running a national election.
Yeah, I think one of the other things, besides Mamdani being generally compelling, and even Republican strategists I've talked to have said the same thing, like this is pretty objective
Yeah, he's
opinion.
a pretty good politician, yeah.
Certainly. I think also one of the things that worked to his advantage is that he didn't fall into the trap too much of nationalizing the election. Andrew Cuomo talked a lot about Trump on the campaign trail when he did his, I believe it was the New York Times candidate profile. He was asked what is the biggest threat facing New York or the country, and his answer was Donald Trump and his threat to democracy. Okay, great if you believe that, but your job is to be mayor of New York City. And Mamdani, I always go back to this, the answer about which foreign country would you visit? Would you go to Israel? No, I am focused on the people of New York. And as bonehead as I think a lot of these proposals are, I think they would be disastrous for the city overall. He made it about New York.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
We disagree on the merits of his proposals,
sure.
but we agree, I think, on the efficacy of his tactics.
That would probably be a whole show, honestly.
A whole other hour.
All right, we have a lot more topics to talk about on Rising right after this. Stick around.
That was from the Hill. You know, I don't know. This is like, I feel like everything is weird. Even this guy, it's like he's been birthed into this time in New York. I mean, when was somebody ever had announced that they were Democrat socialists? I mean, this is like so over the top. That party is failing. I believe that the Democratic Party is going to become extinct. If they keep on, if this is the agenda and this is the type of candidate that they are producing, that does not carry the values and the standard of America, this man is gaslighting these constituents along the way. He cannot deliver on any of his promises. So it's just so amazing that people are really drinking the Kool-Aid and they're believing what he's saying because he said free bus rides. How are they going to have free bus rides when New York can't even pay for trash deliveries? I mean, they can't even get rid of the rats in the city. It's just unbelievable that people are believing what this man is saying. You're not going to get free housing and free groceries. They don't have the money to even clean the streets. So I don't even know how they're falling for the okie doke. I don't, like, if somebody tell you, I mean, I could run. I can promise you every one of y'all on here, I'm going to make y'all all a millionaire.
Well, this is what the
That would be wonderful if I could do that.
This is what the Democrats
But they believe stuff.
Democrats are known for, giving false promises.
False promises. That's how all
Look
their
what Joe Biden
campaigns.
said he was going to do for the black community.
Yeah, Joe Biden, look, I campaign like crazy. I'm gonna start showing my my viral video. You know, the reason why I supported even Biden as hard as I did was because he said that he was going to give us black community an anti-hate crime bill. That was long overdue. 400 years of going through whatever. And we asked for an anti-hate crime bill, and I just knew that he was going to deliver on that. I truly believed it. 2020, when him and Kamala was running for office, and we campaigned, we canvassed, we did phone banking, made calls all over the city. I did maybe, I probably have done, not just for a Biden campaign, but for campaigns and different activist activities. I probably have done at least, at a minimum, probably 200 or more rallies that I have organized and have had different groups of communities, different groups of people out there, political leaders, senators, congressmen, all of them at my rallies and stuff. So I'm used to doing that because as a Democrat, that's what we do. We rally. And I've just been shocked at when he didn't deliver on anything. If I had known that the agenda was to open up the borders, I would have campaigned against his ass. If I knew that they were going to be the cause of high inflation, the economy the way it was, interest rate through the roof, that people couldn't buy houses, 2 wars, all this stuff, and then pushing transgender agenda and LGBTQ and abortion, they put a cherry on top. They got away from all my values. So I wouldn't have supported it. And they delivered on nothing. No, at least out of all that, they should have delivered on something. They delivered on nothing.
Mr. Nice Guy 98 said, I love you guys. You have the right mindset. God bless USA. Love you too, man.
God bless you.
God
You
bless
know,
you.
our country is in crisis, and I don't think we know it yet.
Yes,
I don't think that they know that this country's in crisis. Like, when you lose your values and principles and the things that this country represents, we're losing the fabric of America.
Yeah, Debbie, I've said the same thing.
We're losing the fabric of America. What's happening to this great country?
Yeah, AKA said they fooled a lot of people. And yes, they have. The Democratic Party has fooled tons of people.
And they still fooling people.
Yeah.
It's like, it's
People are
crazy.
upset.
It's crazy. What has happened to the fabric of America? What has happened to us as a nation? I mean, we're fighting against what we have always cherished. We have always cherished being an example to the rest of the world and not having all this stuff that's been going on out in the streets. It doesn't even look like America. It's like, when has America been overthrown by non-citizens that they're the priority and we're the ones doing the voting? I think we need to look at our votes, and we need to vote them people out of office. They need to go.
Carrie says, smart lady and man. Love listening to you both. Appreciate it.
We have to really have our eyes open. And the Democrats are not doing a damn thing for us. Like, they talk about that big, beautiful bill. At least Trump got something on the table. Tell them to put something on the table.
S1K said, what fabric? The battle of keeping minorities down is going strong, sister.
You know what? In the name of Jesus, I pray that God deliver you, because we are not the same freaking country. This country has changed. The Democratic Party are not working for the American people. They're working for the illegal immigrants. And I think people get confused when you talk about immigrants. Then they try to lump all the immigrants that have ever entered this country together. We are not talking about the ones that's been here for 20 years, 15 years, the ones who've been working, respecting this country, not burning our flag, not causing riots, not acting like they're entitled, that they have this entitlement. I'm not talking about them.
Not murdering people.
Not murdering,
Not
raping people, raping children, kidnapping people. It's 350,000 children missing since, that's what Biden did. Y'all don't even talk about those kids. 350,000 children. They found 68 the other day. 68 kids that these people had. 68. You got kids that are being sexually abused, killed. Who knows what they're doing with these children, working them to death. 350,000. It's not even part of the news. Come on now. That's what they have done. 350,000 children. God have mercy on them.
Yeah, no one talks about
God, nobody talks about it. Nobody, out of sight, out of mind.
It's crazy what they done to
That's what they have done to our country. And y'all like it's no big deal. It is a big deal. To somewhere some child is being abused, raped, and nobody's doing a damn thing about it. Y'all won't even admit the stuff that's going on.
It's
And
true.
if we don't stop it now, it's going to get worse.
Mitchell said when they say deport homegrown, they mean black people. Wake up.
You know what? You can believe the okie doke if you want to. The only people written in that Constitution that have any rights are black people. You know that, right? Black people have been the leaders of civil rights and all this that people have been able to benefit from, like the LGBTQ, women rights, and everybody else what black people have done. Black people were the only people here that were put into slavery, that were enslaved people. My ancestors, they worked sun up, sun down. They talk about kids being ripped apart. They would have babies and they could take the babies. They could lynch and kill your husband. There was no laws protecting you from anything. They could do anything they wanted to. You were property. You were sold on auction blocks. So if anybody should have a problem, it should be us. And we didn't act out after 400 years until we saw George Floyd being murdered in real time. But they don't have a reason to be upset. The ones that came in the last 4 years, they weren't here for 400 years. They were not enslaved. They were given everything. Housing, education. They didn't give us education. Housing, education, college, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. They were given everything. And they didn't even have to work for it. And then they're going to repay us by tearing up our streets, destroying our infrastructure and burning our American flag, and they just act a fool. And they protesting for, like, they're gonna make us make them citizens.
They got their flag everywhere.
But they probably want to have their flag. You want to flee from something that you claim you want to get away from, and you want to fly your flag in our country. Now that you're trying to make our country look like what you left. Is that it? Did I get that right? You want to make our country look like what you left. You shouldn't want us to be anything like that. So I'm not talking about the immigrants that have been here. They don't behave, the ones who are non-citizens, they don't behave like these people that came in. That's what Biden, by giving them everything, this is what you get. Just like children. You give them everything, then they don't respect you. They will never respect us because you're giving them everything. They don't respect us. Respect has to be earned. When they have to apply for citizenship and they have to earn it, they're the best citizens than all of us. They love the country.
They actually want the American dream.
They want the American dream. And I'm speaking the truth. I'm speaking the truth. Just like kids, you give them everything, they don't, no respect, no appreciation. Take you for granted. And that's exactly what they've been doing. So the ones that have come into our country now are a far cry for what we want. They're not the ones that they talk about that's been on the farms. They're not the ones that's been working in different industries that have been contributing to this country. This is a different breed of people. They don't even know how, they don't even respect themselves at this point. How are you going to so boldly and act like that's so be wonderful that how you going to come into a country and that we respect our soul men and women who have died for our country, our military? How are you going to come into our country and burn the flag and spit on it? You know, but this is a different time. This is not like no other time. We got all these countries with nuclear capabilities, so wars are not going to be fought the same. We have open borders, and everyone was vetted prior to 4 years ago coming into this country. So now our FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, ICE, all of them know what's really here. And they only could share but so much with us. Okay? There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on in America now. that we weren't subjected to. So that's what happened when they opened up those borders. And this stuff is going to be going on way long after Trump leaves office. We still going to have a problem. We still going to have a problem. Get the memo. Long after Trump is no longer the president, we're still going to have a problem. And we got to put them in luxury prisons to even detain them. Luxury prisons. It's crazy. So we need to get it together. And we need to wake up. And we need to put America first. Because we got a lot of work to do now in this country. And we need to stick together and stop allowing these parties to divide us. We're one nation under God. You got to stop allowing like red, blue, and all that. It's over with. They have to work together. And you should demand it. You should expect your leaders to work together. I don't need Jasmine Crockett fighting, what's her name? Marjorie Greene. I don't need everybody fighting each other. I need them to learn how to work together. They're supposed to be educated. They're supposed to be, so should be the best of the best, but they're not. But I need them to work together for us. I don't need them working against each other, because when they do that, they're working against us. I don't need the Democratic Party, everybody voting against a bill that's going to be no tax on tips, Social Security, on overtime, and giving more money to seniors and all the other different benefits that it's going to do for this country.
Appreciate it, Bree. They said my favorite mother and son. Thank you.
I don't know, boy. I'm going to have to run for office, y'all. I am so tired of these incompetent people. Our people have lost our ways. But this is not the same America. If you didn't hear it on anybody else's channel, I'm telling y'all, this is not the same America that it was 4 years ago.
Mitchell, you're about to get
It's not.
banned because you're spamming.
Ban them.
Okay.
Oh, put them on a timeout. So we're not going to go for that. You can speak your mind. If you want to be heard, super chat us. Don't spam. And we'll read it. But anyway, you guys, don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe. Support the channel. And when you get the likes up, it goes out to the algorithm. And this way, this will grow our channel. Because right now, we're in the growing stages of this channel.
Brian said, man, a black Republican is a rare find. I feel like I found a Pokemon card.
Oh, I love that. God bless you. That is so cute. A Pokemon. They found a Pokemon. It's hard because the thing about it is the black community, when we've been voting for generations, generation after generation after generation after generation, the same way. You know, because my mother voted that way. If I was voting that way, my kids gonna vote that way. My grandmother, she voted. See, we're supposed to vote Democrat straight down the ballot. We don't look at what they represent. We don't look at policy. We just, Democrats, that's for the people. The Democratic Party is no longer the party for the people. They're not the party of the people. They used to be the party of the working class. They're not the party of the working class. What they've done to this country, the interest rate, the inflation that they caused, they want to blame on Trump. He inherited this mess that he's been cleaning up. They never have gotten blamed for what they've done to this country. And I have a problem with that, but I'm going to be crying into the rooftops and keep reminding people they did this. They continue to do this. You know, but hopefully my people, we're going to do different live streams to wake them up. So next election, you're going to have more black people voting for the Republican Party. We're not going to keep giving our votes away. Or if it's an independent. But it's not going to keep just going freely to the Democratic Party. They're going to have to earn our votes. Because 93% of us voted for Kamala in the last election. And we knew she was unfit. They voted because she pretended to be black. Sad. this Indian woman became black for the black community to get our votes, and she got them. Because there's no way that Tampon Tim and Kamala, they would not be able to handle the pressures of what's going on outside and internationally, where Trump has been dealing with all these wars. They're looking for his leadership. Every leader around the world is looking for Trump's leadership to lead them. And then we expect him to do what he's supposed to do here. On top of it, he's going to drive up as far as he can, close it. You know, so, you know, we got to stay prayed up. And I just started my other channel called Let's Pray About It. I got to work on that. But I'm still learning, and we're still trying to learn a lot, because next time you come on, I have my intro, I want to have my music, just to make it see more of our personalities. Because, man, believe it or not, I'm extremely funny. I usually make a lot of jokes. I'm funny, but this stuff has been so serious. That sometimes you just gotta be, serious about certain situations, because you got to care about your family, your children, and their future. Because this country, I'm telling you, is not the same United States of America. And that's what the Democratic Party has done. And they walking around trying to say Trump this, Trump that. And it ain't his fault. This bull crap that has been going on, worship until all has heard. That's what my shirt said. 28:19. Matthew's 28:19. Because Jesus is coming back soon. But we got to stay prayed up. And you got to seek God's face. Because, God, ask him for discernment. Ask God for wisdom. Because he gives that out liberally. You can't, man is fallible. You can't trust man. And you can't go by what people say. You got to trust in God. Don't put your trust in man. This is not about red and blue. It's about putting your trust in Jesus. And that's where your help coming. My help coming from the Lord. We never lacked any good thing. We're doing well. When I'm on here speaking, it's not because I'm in need of anything, because my God provides all my needs according to his riches and glory through Christ Jesus. So we're doing extremely well. Always have been. My entire family, my extended family, everyone is single homes, luxury cars, multiple degrees, all of us, the entire family. But this is about, it's not about yourself. You have to care about other people. It's never just about you. Your testimony is not about you. What you've been through is not about you. It's about sharing your experience that can help somebody else. So you can't be just about yourself. You have to be, I care so deeply about other people. That's what you hear coming from me. It's not concerned about myself or my kids. All my kids have degrees. My children are successful. They're movers and shakers. All of them have multiple degrees. I only have one. He's working on his though. But I have two others. And one in the military. Okay, so it's a lot. But we have to stay prayed up. And we need to stop letting these politicians and people gaslight us. And if their morals have changed and they're not standing on principles, then we need to be real with that. Because I was totally with the Democratic Party, but they're not the party of the people. They're not.
I just thought of something. Who do you think has more control, the politicians or the mainstream media?
Ooh, okay. My son wants to know who has more control, our elected officials or mainstream media? Do the politicians, are they more influential, or is it the mainstream media? Who's influencing the way that we think? Who is it? Said hi. Serving others of life, media, MSM, mainstream news. media, mainstream media. Politicians are the kids, and the media is the father of the household. Okay, right. They're the father of the household. Media is not either. Yeah, it's like the majority of the people are saying it's the media. They had me fooled. You couldn't tell me anything because I was like, look, I love listening to CNN, MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, Meet the Press, Morning Joe, all of them, the Today Show, everyone. I was listening to all of them, and they did influence me considerably. And they told me that Fox News was a boogeyman, and everybody else wasn't for the American people, and they were wolves in sheep clothing. Lord have mercy. You got to find out stuff for yourself. But there's so much that's going on that we have to wake up. And we don't want to put a socialist into office by no means. We don't want to turn America into what people have left behind in their countries. The people that left it behind, I mean, you can hear how scared they are in their voices because they know the outcome of it. They know what it leads to. They said, I left Albania to come here because of that. You know, they're not coming. People shouldn't want to come to America for this mess.
One guy looked just pretty, just out there. He was like, I'm not going back to Haiti.
Yeah, anybody can promise. That's what they're doing, just promising, people to get their votes. They're not going to give you no $30. Where is Mudani going to get money to pay every New Yorker a minimum wage of $30 an hour? And he said, get rid of the billionaires. Well, they're going to leave anyway. I mean, where he's going to get the money, they're not even asking those questions. Where he's going to get the money that everyone can ride the bus for free. They're just going to get on the bus and nobody has to pay bus fare.
You want to show David Hogg's video?
Who?
David Hogg, he interviewed the New Yorkers.
Who?
David Hogg.
Oh, you can put it on. I really wasn't going to try to get into this one, but you can, because I wasn't going to do Mandani today. But it's hard not talking about him because the state of America is in jeopardy. It's really in jeopardy. And that's like a going phrase. I say it's going to happen when they come for your next and all. This is not America. America never had these concerns. This is different.
Communist. Do you think communism would work well here inside of the largest city of America?
We're gonna go full communist. This is not gonna work out well. This is none of these old white men. It's time for a change.
Government grocery stores. Good idea or bad idea?
Where's that money coming from? Taxes?
You think New York City will fall if this guy is elected mayor?
Oh, there's no question. It's already barely surviving.
Today I'm here in New York City, and today we're asking the New Yorkers here.
This is Nick Shirley.
For their next mayor. Right now, just recently, a man by the name of Zoran Mandani just won the primary for the Democrats here inside of New York City. He's a self-proclaimed Democrat socialist who's running on ideas such as freezing the rent, $30 minimum wage, defunding the police, government-ran grocery stores, and free buses for everyone here inside of New York City. Donald Trump has came out and called him a communist, and right now on prediction markets like Pie Market, he has a 71% chance of winning this election next to his competitors like the current mayor, Eric Adams, Curtis Silva, and Andrew Cuomo. If you want to track this election with Pie Market, you can use piemarket.com or click the link in the description down below. And now let's go talk to the New Yorkers here about who they're going to be voting for. Let's hit the streets. Here we go. Who would you like to see win the mayor race here in New York?
Zoran Mamdani.
And why so?
Because he represents working people and is offering policies that counter the establishment and that resist the influence of billionaires over this city. And he's the working people's candidate.
What's your favorite policy of Zoran?
Taxing billionaires into non-existence.
What do you think about this guy potentially becoming the next mayor of New York City?
Oh, hell no. No, I don't like that guy, man.
And what do you think will happen if this guy wins?
I have no fucking idea, but I was here when Dinkins was the mayor, so I know bad times. I was complaining about Adams, but I would take him 4 more years than that guy.
Who would you like to see become the next mayor here in New York City?
Zoran Mandami, of course.
Myself.
I really like what he says about the rent freezes are a big one for me. City-owned grocery stores are also a huge factor for me. I don't use the buses that often, but that's pretty cool for the bus takers of New York.
How do you feel that this guy could potentially be the next mayor of New York City?
Dude, we're doomed if he's mayor. I mean, we're gonna go full communist. This is not gonna work out well. And I've resisted leaving New York for many reasons over the years, but I think this is gonna be the final nail in the coffin. I won't be able to survive in the city with him. No way.
If this guy wins, you're leaving.
I'm gonna have to. I mean, my business will be destroyed.
What worries you most about him being elected?
I'm worried about there being complete, total chaos and our mayor actually promoting chaos. Promoting and allowing all the protesters, all the peaceful protesters to do their thing, and it's going to be really scary.
And this guy right now who's running
They
for
won't
mayor,
be in
he's
New
one of
York.
the fellow protesters himself.
Right. It's scary. I mean, seeing him get in the faces of the police that are supposed to protect him. I saw that one video where he's in the face of, I think it was state troopers, which, they're here to protect the governor and mayor sometimes, and I don't know what he's thinking. I mean, he wants to get rid of the police and have social workers.
Billionaires are leaving that
How's
city.
that going to work?
And who are you going to be voting for?
Sliwa, definitely. He's the only choice, in my opinion.
Would you guys want to vote for a self-proclaimed Democrat socialist here in New York City?
No.
What do you guys think about the ideas of defunding the police and a $30 minimum wage?
I think that's nuts. That would be so hard to maintain.
Yeah,
that would be
that's a little
ridiculous
hard.
to maintain. I don't like the whole defund the police things. I think there's, if anything, fund them more, get training better when you defund them. What does that do?
Government grocery stores. Good idea or bad idea?
I don't. Where's that money coming from? Taxes?
Yeah,
Where's the money coming from? I think that's insane.
Who do you want to be the next mayor of New York?
I can't, Zohar. Zohar?
Zohar?
Yeah.
Mandami,
I already voted for him, so in the primary. Yeah.
And what makes you want him to be the next mayor?
I think we need to switch up. I want someone young, ready to go, really changing and focusing on the younger generation and just really making the city, giving it something new. Como, we need something fresh, and we gotta get him out.
Right here we have some Democrat for Mayor Zoran signs outside here in the East Village. Would you like to have a Democratic Socialist mayor of New York City?
Democratic as long as they're for the people, I guess. Yeah, as long as they're fighting for people's rights.
Do you like the idea of socialism?
Depends on the person.
For instance, a lot of people have
know
been
what it
seeing a lot of
means.
countries that are kind of like socialist governments or communist governments. Trump's been calling him a communist.
Right.
And countries like Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua, those countries are very communist countries.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them came here these past 4 years to leave that. So do you think it'd be a good idea to bring it here, communism, and see how it goes?
As long as we're allowing people to get to safety here, absolutely, yeah, if that's what that means.
Okay, so just like communism happened here in New York City?
If it's, I don't know, it just depends on the person and how they're using their power.
And who do you support for mayor here in New York City?
Not that guy Zoltani, whatever his name is. I used to like the governor Cuomo. I don't know about him right now to be a mayor. One of the New York millionaires came out and he said that he would sponsor any free runner, someone who's from outside, and maybe that would be a good option.
Really? So now millionaires are coming together saying we got to find somebody we can fund to make sure that this Zoran Mandami guy doesn't win.
If he wins, a lot of business will go.
Jan, you've been on the channel a few times now, and now the mayor might be potentially Zoran Mandami. Will you vote for him?
I can't imagine anyone I would vote for after him. I think I would vote for, that truck over there, over him. No, but mildly, I will not be voting for him. My hope is that many other people will not be. The only thing I can really say is I am concerned, from what I've heard, only about 5% of the New Yorkers voted for him. So in the primaries tend to be low turnout elections, so fringe candidates do better because they have a lot of energy, and then the regular voting mass just doesn't. But the hope is that a lot of different people coalesce behind Eric Adams, because this is unacceptable. It's one thing to have Los Angeles or Chicago have some fringe, DEI mayor, but it is another to have an Islamist communist who's 32 and whose mom was a Bollywood millionaire director who has never worked a day in his life and is a failed rapper try to run New York City. New York City is not a city that we can sacrifice to Islamism or to communism. There's too much here, too much business, too much real estate. I don't know if it works the same way. I don't think people can just look past New York the same way and let it go.
And why do you think it'd be a bad thing to have an Islamist as a mayor here in New York City?
You want to look at an example of a Western city that's had a effectively Pakistani Muslim mayor. You look at London, right? And London has become unlivable, high crime, gangs, extreme prices. Only the very rich and very poor can afford to live there. That's effectively what would happen here.
Another one of Mandami's policies is to defund the police and bring in a new group of police that would just be outreach and be helping people here on the streets. What do you think would happen to New York City if Mandami does go through with another one of his policies to defund the police?
Portland, Oregon is what will happen, except with tremendously more crime, some much larger city. Pharmacies will close. Many stores will close. The same liberal white women that voted for him will be targets of both robberies and assaults on a constant basis. And then, only then will people realize that some of these changes are very hard to undo. Very hard.
And remember this guy because we'll be coming back to him later in this video.
You as a Jew, how do you feel about potentially having the first Muslim mayor here in New York City?
It's not about the Muslim mayor, it's about what his policies are.
Yeah, what do you think about his policies and him not?
Very bad.
And what do you think about him not declining or saying no to the globalizing the Antifada?
That's very bad. Even the worst thing that can even be said.
And who are you voting for?
I'm voting for Como.
And before we go talk to more people here in the streets of New York City, I want to tell you guys about the sponsor of this video, Opus Clip. What started as just an AI clipper is now the...
That's an example of, I think that last guy, he explained it really well. We're going to go more in detail because this really video was about Homan and about the app that they have that can alert people prior to ICE, I guess, coming on the scene and putting the ICE agents in danger when they are trying to arrest the bad guys, but they're trying to act like ICE. They have flipped the script. It's like the good guys are the bad guys and the bad guys are the good guys. That's how the insanity that's going on in this country right now. But it'll be turned around. There's enough of us that still have common sense. And we, know we see the shift in what's going on in this country. And it's our responsibility to bring awareness to everyone else as it's happening. And that's why I like people like Nick Shirley. He's boots in the ground. He travels all around the city and outside of the country. And he's not biased. He's getting, he's talking to everyday people, and he's doing what the news media should do, which they don't do. He's reporting, actually. So I might even show him if I do it again tomorrow. I might show some more of it, but I think that we're going to dive in because New York is one of the biggest cities. It is the biggest city in this country, so it matters. But they talking about tax the billionaires. Guess what? They will leave. They're leaving when they take law enforcement out of that city, because they already are taking over the city with the cops there. But when you want to defund the police, get rid of ICE, and that's a sanctuary city, meaning you have all the criminals that are going to be in New York. They are in New York. They're right there. So just like he was saying that those white men and people voting or whatever might vote for him, those are the ones that's going to get mugged. So, it's crazy the insanity that's going on. And the things that he's saying he can't deliver on. He's not going to be able to deliver on. The money's not there. He's not even saying, he's making promises that he cannot keep. And the people are not even asking him, where are you going to get the funding from? Where are you going to get this money from? Because every state will want free bus rides. Every state wants free housing. Where are they going to get this money? Every state wants $30 minimum wages. Who's this money coming from? That you can pay people no matter what they're doing. They could be the floor sweeper and they getting $30 an hour, right? It's crazy. It doesn't work that way. Not in the real world. But anyway, we're getting ready. What is it? Just playing. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. We are going to be on here tomorrow. Probably going to be on here around 5 because it's going to be like, I don't know, Trump doing like America First parade or something like that. But there's a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. I hope you guys are going to, the ones, if you don't join us tomorrow, I don't know if we're going to do anything on actually the 4th of July. But we will be on here tomorrow. And if you don't join us in, don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell so when we do come on, that you're notified. You always can leave us a comment. I do be putting up posts. I like to interact with my subscribers. And don't forget to look at some of my other videos, like the one that we did yesterday. What was the title of that? I forgot to look at it. But you can look at some of the other videos. We did a great video yesterday with, was that with Trump, right? We do so many videos. Some I do 2 a day. So anyway, but thanks.
See you guys.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Can you say something? I just want to tell them the other video. Just say something.
Democrats got us.
Oh.
This country is doomed with the Democrats.
Yeah, you can look at our other video. We was talking about the big, beautiful bill. So that's what we did yesterday. So don't forget to take the time to look at that video. It's not that long. You know, we usually do longer videos because we have a lot of meat in it. I'm probably going to start doing clips so people can see like the actual conversations that we are having. But for the people that, you know, subscribe and keep coming back, thank you for taking the time to spend with us. And we welcome everyone. You just got to be respectful. You got to be respectful in the chat. You can't be threatening people. And if people don't agree with you, we can agree to disagree. And we expect you to use the dictionary and be respectful. Because if you can't do that, then we have to remove you. And maybe this isn't a channel for you. You have to go somewhere where they're actually saying what you want to hear. But on here, Speak the Truth 2.0, we're going to speak the truth. And we welcome everyone's opinion. You know, everyone's opinion. You trying to say something? Yeah, we. My son, so we welcome everyone's opinion, and we just hope that you enjoy the rest of your night. And don't forget to, you know, get those likes up. So go out to the algorithm. That's how you can support us. And God bless everyone. Like I said, don't forget to look at the previous video we did yesterday, Big Beautiful Bill. So anyway, thanks you guys.
God bless you.
God bless you. And God said, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. So, you know, we're about the business. We're about Christ. Worship, that's what this is. Worship till all have heard. So God bless you guys. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Oh, thank you. What did he say? Go ahead. You support. 3 people are having more than the bottom. No, okay, we don't have time for that today, but thank you, Nick.
He's been a troll the whole
Thank
time.
you, Nick. Yeah, thank you. I think you understood everything that was said. You know, you understand everything that was said.
He's a black person, he's lost.
You know, people don't understand that this government, it has a $36 trillion deficit. We took on 20 million illegal immigrants that feel like they're more entitled than us. All our Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare are going to them, while our elected officials don't even do anything for American citizens. Black people can't get off the plantation. The freaking Democrats been in power for 12 of the last 16 years, and we wasn't even able to get an anti-hate crime bill when they had this freaking the House of Representatives, Senate, and the freaking presidency. Yeah, no, they got to earn my damn vote from this point on. And a lot more of us are waking up. And black men, after Biden did that mass incarceration, they should be ashamed of themselves for voting for that goddamn Biden.
Yeah, he been saying the scripture the whole stream that Trump's
check.
prophet.
You need to do your homework. Look up Biden's author 1994 crime bill. Look up Obama. He was for the LGBTQ. Look at up Biden also. He was the open border and the president of transgenders. That's your president. You like boys in the men's bathroom. That's sad. I'm so done with that party.
Sad that a lot of people of this community still.
Yeah, and they tell me support. But guess what? You know what? Biden made a lot of my black brothers and sisters felons, so we ain't got a problem with the president being made a felon. Okay, that's why we ain't got a problem with that, because we got a lot of felons been in the black community. We could thank a Democrat for that.
Oh, Nick wants no billionaires too.
Thank a Democrat for that. Y'all talking to the wrong people talking about felons. Y'all talking to black people. Look, we could thank Biden for that. They have over sentenced and giving black kids and men these crazy sentences for minor infractions. So anyway, God bless y'all. I went in. I tried to get off. I shouldn't have read that. You do your homework. Didn't come for me. Do your damn homework. I'm tired of our people. Like the Bible says, people perish for lack of knowledge. That's the honest to God truth. I didn't know. I voted for him. But now I'm looking into what's really going on. And that's what you should do. Save yourself. Yeah. Stop just voting for people because they're a certain party.
It's on that plantation.
That damn plantation mentality. Get off it and do your homework. Everybody, look what's going on. Wake up. Wake up, America. That's what I'm going to call it. Wake up, America.